back to Storytime with Dan Booker. Appreciate you coming by, visiting once again. Today, before we begin, I want to talk about what we've been reading lately. We're working our way through the writings of Kent Wayne. We start out with The Door into Evermore, and then Echo, Approaching Shadow. Now, those two are kind of different. The Door into Evermore was a young adult fantasy, kind of Dungeons and Dragons type thing that really came out, I think, very well. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, we had Echo, Approaching Shatter, with Atreya and his job on the crew as a crusader. And that again, wonderful story. I just finished reading it. Put my critique up there on Amazon. You ought to too if you've read it. It just, I'm always amazed at an author who can write in different styles, and I appreciate that very much. It shows a lot of creativity. So today we're going to go to his third book. This one is talk about being at the end of the other end of the spectrum. Kor-Thank, cheerleader, Barbarian Valley Girl. So we're going to have some fun, I think, with this one. So today we're going to do the intro and then the prologue, and then tomorrow or the next day, whenever you see the next one up, we'll go into the story. I guess you can say the intro is the story. The intro is kind of an explanation of what he's written here. Basically, it's just kind of an off-the-wall book and a lot of fun, which is what we're going to read right now. So let's begin. And as I said, that's Kor-Thank, Barbarian Valley Girl. And let's read the intro. It says, a musing that bears consideration. What would it mean if reality were infinite, truly infinite? If every permutation of matter, energy, physics, and causality existed somewhere out there in the vast unknown? A few universes over, Hamlet would be authored by an immortal monkey banging randomly at a newsroom typewriter. Fictional heroes would live actual lives in adjacent dimensions. From what I understand, physicists and philosophers, and please research this for yourself, I'm not a scholar, allow for scenarios where cause and effect do not dictate the expression of phenomena. Time, which is needed for causality to exist as a condition, A requires time to produce interaction B and is once again needed to express result C from interaction B. Is a construct born from the expansion of the universe and is affected by factors like gravity and speed. If you consider this pie-in-the-sky idea with little to no bearing on your daily life, look no further than your GPS app. A GPS satellite must account for gravity-borne time slippage or it will end up sending us faulty data. Admittedly, what I have described is a cheap trick. I've used my meager knowledge of science to champion my story, to promote the idea that the tale herein might be happening to somewhere, somewhen. To what end, though? To be perfectly honest, I do it to shore up a ridiculous tale with all the credibility I can muster. The world in this story is similar to ours, but with an added twist of fantasticality. Let's start with the plausible, a modern-day high school where the teen queen cheerleaders are just as vicious as the John Hughes character. Let's push it a little further. My protagonist is a mad genius, a high school senior who, through his cutting-edge knowledge of psychedelics and tech, possesses the ability to change the world. If I haven't lost you yet, let's go a couple of notches further. Within a parallel dimension, there lives a warrior king similar to Conan. He swings swords, casts spells, rescues scantily clad maidens from evil wizards, and oh yeah, he rides a velociraptor. Teen Queen, Mad Genius, and Raptor riding barbarians. What would happen if they actually met? I'm fully aware that this is a ridiculous proposition. I'm also aware that it's self-serving, that it's meant to soften your disbelief so I can stand a chance at telling a farcical tale. I've done my part to set up the story, the rest is up to you. So without further ado, I urge you to continue reading and revel in the absurdity. Okay. Dear Diary, oh my God, I was just voted squad captain. I had to arrange an accident where we dropped our former captain, Lizzie Pendergrass, on her stupid fucking head. Happy brain trauma, bitch! From the high school diary of Holly Dent, Atherton Sr., cheer squad captain and evil psychopath. Today we will kill hundreds and free thousands. While we in Dashi are brave beyond measure, our courage must be channeled through a strong mind and an iron fist. Kor-Thank is that mind, Kor-Thank is that fist. Amidst a rain of steel-tipped arrows, our king rallied the Reptrix cavalry and led to the charge against Hrothgar's army. From the Legend of Kor-Thank by Kreldar Algus, written in the 7th age of Ilvaya, 4th epoch of the minor cycle. I just want to fuck something, from the blog of Chunga Peter Lee. Now we get to the prologue. Excuse me. Oh yes, I accept. Holly Dent bounced in place, clenched her fists up to her by her chin. Her cheerleader minions ringed her in, surrounding their queen with shiny smells. Oh my God! Oh my God! Knew you'd be the captain. Liz would be so happy. This from her friend and evil lieutenant, Mercer Tompkins. The overhead lights flickered and buzzed, but no one noticed. Ahem. Holly adopted a somber expression. Ahem, ahem, ahem. The girls quieted. Holly laid a hand on her heart and indicated serious mode, a tactic she'd learned from her suburb-owned mother. This is really important, so look super interested and not a lot once I'm finished. Lizzie's in a coma. She cleared her throat and stifled a laugh. We have to support our brain damaged sister. Marissa reached out and squeezed her shoulder. For sure, House, for sure. Come on, guys. Holly flexed her throat, making her voice crack. Group hug. The gaggle of cheerleaders pressed inward. For Liz, she whispered. For Liz, they muttered. Holly sniffed, gauged the right amount of time to continue looking sad. 1001, 1002, 1003. Good enough. Let's get back to work. She stepped back, flashing a brave in the face of tragedy smile. It's what Lizzie would want. There was a chorus of nods. Every so often, with a bunch of like-minded psychopaths, a hive mind is formed. And right now, the hive mind knew it was time to celebrate. Marissa clapped her hands, squeezing them tightly in front of her chest. We're so happy for you, Howls. The girls rushed in and lifted Holly up. Her body went in on autopilot, thanking, cheering, yaying. Inwardly, however, she was the exact opposite. That's right, you cunts. Pay tribute to your queen. Kor-Thank, Barbarian King, stared into his mirror. His distorted reflection stared vexedly back. I'm weary, Kroll. I tire of kingship. Kreldar, his loyal friend and chief chronicler, gave Kor-Thank a puzzled look. My liege. Kor's eyebrows beetled together. Orgoth's balls, Kroll. We have fought back to back, spilled the same blood in the same mud. Use my name, Chrome, damn you. I'm sorry, brother. It's just that your latest feat was nothing short of... Kor-Thank cracked his faint smile. 'Twas glorious, wasn't it? Kroll faced forward, studying the skulls upon the tavern keeper's shelves. He waved a hand from left to right as if drawing back an invisible curtain. The king charged up a full-grown Retrodrax, sitting astride his velociraptor mount, the loyal tongue render. His name is Bitefighter. Kreldar threw him a reproachful look. As chief chronicler, I must convey gravitas. Kor-Thank sighed and a circle of hand. Continue. Kroll stared again at the tavern keeper's goods. His eyes turned distant. filling with a glow of epic memories. He charged up the spine of a 50-foot Retrorex, knocking black seer arrows onto his bow. As he crested the neck of he clucked his tongue, commanding his mount to dive left. At the same time, the king dove right and loosed his missiles, piercing the eyes of the three-headed beast, one arrow for each head. Crow slammed the table with a gnarled fist. "One man! One man!" He brandished a finger and shook it forcefully. Never before had one man slain a full-grown Retrorex. His voice turned reverent. The Indashi king had slaughtered dark light sorcerers, hordes of undead, beasts that could exhale fire, ice, or poison. He led hundreds of charges against orcs and fellwalkers. And now, with the death of the Retrorex, he took his place amongst the greatest hunters in all of the Thea. Kroldar looked expectantly at his friend. "What do you think?" The king stared morosely ahead. What of the long cold nights? What of the years we spent prepping the larders so our kin and company could endure the freeze? It's not all glory, Kroll, you know that. Your subjects desire inspiration, Kor, not minutiae. Kor-Thank gave a cynical scoff. Inspiration? To what end? Your deeds give them a sense of purpose, and a sense of purpose, more than anything, makes our lives into something worth living. Kor-Thank mulled his still foaming stein. I have matched my sword against the fearsome creatures, and I have slain them all with consummate ease. Dragons, demons, leeches, yet an gnawing emptiness plagues my soul. Despite all my accomplishments and countless victories, peace eludes me. He stared hauntingly at Kroldar. What of my purpose, Kroll? Where does it lie? As Alantil said, nowhere and everywhere. What does that mean? The king snapped. You make your own purpose, Kor. Kroll looked him squarely in the eye. You make your own. Shangda Peter Lee was a wrathful genius. Onion knew, the former president knew, but aside from those two, no one fucking knew. And it was driving him insane. He threw projectiles at Holly's picture. After the first hour, he switched from darts to ninja stars, then reached under his bed and withdrew a quantum-encrypted stat phone. He pressed his thumb against his genetic spectroscan and pushed a tritium button marked send. Peter, how you doing, man? Things are fucked, B. They are fucked. The former president let out a sigh. They were always fucked, Peter. Hands get shaken, bribes get made, and the gears keep spinning. I score a book deal along with a warning, tell the public about grays or insectoids, and we'll scramble your brains with a 308 bullet. Peter rested his brow in the crook of his thumb and forefinger. She killed my dog, B. A fucking dog. I've blackmailed billionaires, reverse engineered alien tech, run logistics for tier 0 hits. And I can't take revenge on Holly fucking Dent. For fuck's sake, she's a fucking cheerleader. Her dad's connected. He's got a lot of pull over at, well, you know, I can't say it. They might be listening. Sanctioning Holly is a definite no-go. We flopped on his bed and Valley itched his scrotum and penis. She killed my dog. Yeah, but you dosed her with an experimental psychedelic, 2,000 milligrams of THC, and a dangerous amount of lab-grade Adderall. Did you ever stop to think that you were creating your own worst... What? The fuck I did, Peter screamed. It was an innocent prank. I was 5 years old, and so was she. She killed Bite Fighter. Peter stomped to the bathroom, grabbed a towel, and blotted the hate sweat off his face. A deep breath later, he said, Sorry, B, I didn't mean to. No, Peter, I should apologize. He's sacrificed a lot. You deserve some peace. You do too. You should get a hold of some kind of... Just because I tried it doesn't mean I actually made a difference. Peter leaned on the sink and stared in the mirror. Everything we've done looks good on paper, but nothing's changed. We were still just a rabid bunch of chimps. We're stuck in a horror movie and no one seems to care. Hell, no one seems to know. All you gotta do is read the news, but at least you're young. Think of the cockhole sitting in Congress. The cow resembles an old-ass turtle. You know, we're surrounded by primates who can't overcome their stupid... Peter ran into his room and punched a wall. Fucking another punch. Chimp instincts. He threw 2 more punches, and a pair of knuckle-dimpled dents joined legions of fist marks. The ones you dealt with wallow in bribes. The ones I deal with jerk into hashtags or jockey for meaningless titles like Homecoming Queen. You know Atherton's mascot is a chimpanzee. They both broke into gales of laughter. The former president gasped. Oh God, He was overtaken by another fit. It wasn't that funny per se, but both Peter and Bea understood that hysterical laughter was the purest tribute you could pay to the absurdity of life. And these two, the former president of the United States and a high school senior, caught in the web of adolescent malice, were uniquely qualified to pay their tribute. One moment. Peter wiped away tears. They named him Fido, but I call him Reptar. Bea's voice rose in alarm. Wait, your school is housing an actual chimp? Does the facility know how vicious they... No one cares. Reptar was Holly's idea, and since her dad is heading up special projects over at OPSEC, Peter, like I said, assume we're tapped. Holly's father was a high-ranking manager of the evil-ass agency known as ANOS, Advanced Robotics and Operational Sciences. ANOS has started as a federal aid entity, but over the years it had become increasingly dependent on corporate contractors. Now it was impossible to tell where business ended and government began. Anyways, Peter said, thanks to her dad, she turned the facility into a bunch of PTA servicing decors. The chimp, how does a high school pay for its upkeep? Bare real estate, man. Biggest taxes in the goddamn country. Atherton High gets enough cheddar to fund a mercenary armory. It's pretty easy to hire some zookeeper staff. Peter shrugged. I can't complain. Aside from you and Reptar's my only other friend. Peter, they cripple their prey. They bite off extremities, gouge eyes, and rip off ball sacks, Peter finished. Yeah, I know. Well, at least they're honest about it. The rest of the school, the rest of society, come to think of it, tries to do the same damn thing, only with laws, norms, and peer pressure. Look, there's a big difference between shady legalities and turning off your... Not to me, Peter hissed, then in a more reasonable tone. Don't worry, he only gets mad when someone interrupts our afternoon playtime. Jesus, you play with him? We grapple. I'm antisocial. I'm not going to go to an actual jiu-jitsu school and... Jiu-jitsu? Peter sighed. It's not ideal, I know. In an actual fight, my moves wouldn't work because he's so damn strong. But I need a partner who can put in the time. It's all good. His joints and limbs approximate of humans. Peter, he's a fucking chimp. We're all chimps, me. We're all chimps. There's a long hanging silence. The former president said, well, we certainly act like it. A beep sounded from Peter's computer. It was followed by a flashing square of text. Today's obligations include an hour of work developing the Byte Mobile, as well as 19 minutes refining the fuck rising. Peter shut off the reminder, then plunked back down onto his bed. Gotta go, B, the Byte-mobile. Peter, it's a decrepit unicycle fitted with circuitry. I'm not sure that mobile is an appropriate suffix. You'll see. Also, I gotta work on my new project, the fuck rising. What are you talking? Never mind. I'm afraid to ask. The earth has gifted us with mind-expanding of substances, entheogens. They can help us ditch our evil monkey ways. Be careful, Peter. I did LSD back at Columbia, and Peter cut him off with a harsh bark of laughter. The fuck rising is no mere hallucinogen. It's gonna set things right. Don't be stupid, that's all I'm saying. That ship sailed a long time ago. Take it easy, B. Peter hung up. He lay on his bed and stared at the ceiling, studying a mural of a Super Mario Brothers mushroom. Unbeknownst to many, the video game Power Up was based on an actual psychedelic, the Amanita muscaria. chosen because it could induce a sensation of physical growth. It also inspired the Santa Claus myth, a red and white entity who delivered presents or punishments depending on the quality of someone's character. Long ago, Peter believed that magic mushrooms could save the world, but as things stood, the world was too far gone and he needed something stronger. The fuck rising. When Holly murdered Bite Fighter, it created a schism in Peter's mind. He admired her ruthlessness, but couldn't forgive her for killing the shit out of his best fucking friend. He had never felt so weak, so powerless, so small. He reached under his bed, drew a crinkled lump of plastic, and mated it with a hose that led to a pump. He turned on the pump and a loud drone filled the room. The plastic blew up into a human figure. In less than a minute, a facsimile of Holly was kneeling on his bed, completely naked and ready for doggy style. Her eyes were ridiculously big, her mouth rounded into a cartoonish O. Peter yanked off his shorts and knelt behind the doll. He began thrusting. "You shouldn't have made me feel small, Holly. You shouldn't have made me feel small." Veins bellowed from his head and neck. This was his nightly ritual, and it was a distinctly dismal one. He wasn't able to come through the doll sex alone. After he vented his pent-up rage, Peter fell on his side and masturbated furiously. Tears of frustration leaked down his cheeks. "You will pay," he blessed his sheets with gross, sticky sperm. "You will all pay." And then he fell asleep in his own filth. So that's the start of Kor-Thank, Barbarian Valley Girl. Hey, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this so far. We haven't even started chapter 1 yet. That's for tomorrow. So like I said, I really appreciate an author that can go from one end of the spectrum to the other, and Kent Wayne can do it, and with total grace. So I appreciate you stopping by, and hope to see you again tomorrow, or when you see the next video. And after we get done with this one, God knows where we're going to go next. I'll have to look through his books and see what we're going to do. If you get a chance, read the other two, Echo Door, or Echo Approaching Shatter, and A Door into Evermore. Both are excellently well written and a lot of fun to read. So look forward to seeing you on the next video, and thank you for visiting, and have a good day. And bye.